Alrighty guys, what's going on? Welcome back to a brand new video. So, Tom Holland's Spider-Man 3 is set to release on December 17th, 2021, at least at the time of this recording. And while we don't know a whole lot about Spidey's next big adventure, a new article from TheHollywoodReporter.com claims that Jamie Foxx will once again reprise his role as Electro in Spider-Man 3. This concerns me, not so much about his reprisal, but about what his reprisal could mean. It's no secret that Sony really wants there to be a connection between their Spider-Man universe and the MCU. We've seen hints of this in the new Morbius trailer with Michael Keaton making an appearance as Adrian Toomes, and the wanted poster for Spider-Man seen in one of the final shots of the same trailer. Now with Electro looking to be one of the very first crossover characters to make his way into the MCU, it's a little bit nerve-wracking to see how his inclusion could possibly lead to yet another messy and overcrowded third Spider-Man movie. This whole issue stems from the theory that in WandaVision, Wanda not only disrupts the current MCU universe, but winds up breaking it at the end of the show, which then leads directly into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and won't get resolved until the end of that movie, meaning multiversal mayhem should be very present in Spider-Man 3, since as of right now, it takes place between those two stories. Now this would mean that both WandaVision and Spider-Man 3 take place at the same time. It's always possible they could start Spider-Man 3 with Peter already on the run, but in my personal opinion, and to better tie into the scenario, we'll say that Spider-Man 3 and WandaVision both take place directly after or close to the finale of Far From Home. Now, a result of this dimensional fracture would mean the introduction of other Marvel Universe heroes and villains into the MCU, such as Sony Spider-Man characters and even Fox X-Men characters like Deadpool. The X-Men characters I don't really have a problem with, since we know that most of the core X-Men will most likely get rebooted with the exception of Deadpool. Here's where my issue lies. If Jamie Foxx is playing the same version of Electro as he did in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, it would be really weird to combine those two universes in what's shaping up to be an already stuffed movie. Now, I'm not opposed to Jamie Foxx playing Electro again. I just hope that if he does, it's a new version of the character and not the same one seen in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Other legacy characters like J.K. Simmons' J. Jonah Jameson appearing in the MCU is actually really cool, but I only like it because he isn't the same version of Jameson as seen in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. Now, you could argue that this is Sony's way of starting a Spider-Verse, but to that I'd have to say, why now? We already have an animated Spider-Verse, and while having a live-action Spider-Verse is something I think would be absolutely incredible, especially if we get Tobey and Andrew back, Tom's Spider-Man has a lot on his plate right now. It just seems like a really bad time to start setting this up. I mean, he's presumably on the run after his outing, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's not in the suit for a whole lot of the movie. I don't know, it just feels weird to me if we got Kraven, who's supposedly hunting Peter and the main villain of the story, and Electro, who's only there to set up a possible Spider-Verse. Those two ideas just don't mix well to me. If Electro is set up in the current MCU and not shoehorned in by Sony with an already existing backstory, then I'm all for it. I mean, maybe Kraven and Electro team up to find Peter or something like that. I'd be totally fine with that. However, if Electro is only there to set up the idea of a Spider-Verse and doesn't really pose a threat to Peter, I think that that's where this idea falls apart. It'd be especially weird and pretty disrespectful to Andrew Garfield's incarnation if the Amazing Spider-Man version of Electro joins Tom's version of the Sinister Six. That would feel super out of place, and I'm not even totally on board with Venom and Morbius possibly joining the Sinister Six, since they have no real beef with Peter to begin with, but at least they aren't another Spider-Man's villain. I just think they should let Spider-Man 3 be a more small-scale story, which is something we haven't seen a ton of yet for this version of Spider-Man. We got a little taste of it back in Spider-Man Homecoming, but since then he's been to space, died, brought back to life, and then went to Europe. I just want this story to be more personal and small scale, not some big Spider-Verse or Avengers setup. Like I said, I'm totally down for a live-action Spider-Verse, but just not yet. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. I do have another video idea similar to this one, and if you'd like to see that, let me know down below as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.